Hey everyone, and today we're going to be talking about finding ourselves after a toxic relationship, toxic family system breakdown, or after a narcissistic abusive relationship. Oftentimes, we find ourselves in a web caught amongst those three scenarios. And then when you get out of it, you're really having to discover who you are, find your voice again, find a way to create a new network around you after everything is crumbled. And through this journey, I have been discovering how my brain works and how I've been sort of conditioned by those toxic relationships to show up in the world. And I don't want to show up that way anymore. So let's talk about it. When we're with a narcissistic partner or in a toxic family system, we're oftentimes told what to think and how to think, how broken we are, how dysfunctional. It's not on a rare occasion that I would hear, oh, you're just not made properly, or your feelings, you feel too much, or every little factor in my life, everything that I enjoyed was poo-pooed or put down throughout these relationships. So it really makes you lose who you are. You don't know the things that you really like because you weren't allowed to like anything. You had to have the right opinion. And then there's another portion of this where you were trained in these abusive relationships to have to justify and explain everything. So that's down to purchasing new laundry detergent. Your sort of choices were always being questioned. So I'm sure many of you have heard, like, oh, why would you spend this much on XYZ? We didn't need more. I mean, it could be something as small as bananas. We didn't need more bananas. We didn't need new laundry soap. We didn't need whatever it is that you want. You always have to justify it. I remember being married to this person, and we were having our first son, and there was a problem with the apartment that we were living in. It just wasn't great conditions, and I really wanted to move, and there was no way that I could convince him. And I cried day and night. I was stressed, and it was awful, and it was just not something high on his priority list. It was definitely, you could see where they enjoy you being in this position of begging them for change, uncomfortable, and they just enjoy feeding off that energy of being on top and in control and having the final say, even if that final say is detrimental to their own offspring. And at that point, I didn't know anything about narcissism. And I actually had to get both my parents involved before he would listen and make the move. And I paid dearly for that. Because I insisted on the move, I was brand new baby, packing everything myself, moving everything myself. Like, he did not participate in any way, shape, or form. And so that was just a part of the punishment for me making us move into a better situation. Anyways, so it goes back to what I was saying about us having to explain ourselves and justify our opinions, justify our choices, justify our purchases. And so we begin to learn to overshare and over-explain, and that even carries on past the relationship, where when you're telling people about the relationship, you're kind of oversharing so that they get the point that it's such a bad situation for you, if you start shedding light on it at all. And then afterwards, you sort of step back and you worry, oh no, are they going to disown me? Are they going to think I'm crazy? Are they going to think I'm lying? Because the things I've shared with them are just so much and seem so crazy when I say them out loud. And then you fear that you're going to lose those connections and friendships. And then so that's during the relationship and during the portion of the relationship that you're leaving. But then after you left the relationship, you still might feel like you have to overshare, or sort of show people what a good person you are. And you're constantly like putting out so much energy and effort, to keep relationships in your life, and you're not really being who you are. You're not being your authentic self because you're constantly like reaching out to others, hoping that they'll accept you, hoping that they'll be your landing place, because you've lost so much. And when you give out so much energy to other people, hoping that they'll take you in and like nurture you and care for you, not only does that leave you emotionally and sort of energetically exhausted, but it exhausts the other person too. So you'll actually find that you're repelling people. I found that when I stepped back into myself and I was like, nope, I'm not here to please anyone else. I'm not over explaining or oversharing or over justifying. This is just who I am, and this is just what I'm going to do. And I had to practice that a little bit, and it didn't take long. It was actually quite a pivotal moment. Like it wasn't something that I needed to practice for weeks and months and years or continue to remind myself to do. It was just a decision that I made. And from that point on, yeah, it did take a few practices, but like a handful, not a handful of months, a handful of practices to just be okay being myself, being okay, um, leaving silence in the conversation and letting other people fill it, and not trying to like overshare and over justify and try to give people more and more until they accept me or love me or anything like that. But just loving myself and being okay with being myself. Um, it started to transform the relationships that I had around me. I wasn't going in with this weak energy that was needy and desperate for people. I was going in with this energy that like I am a whole person and I am okay, and I hope to connect with you. And if it works, it's great. And if it doesn't work, then you're just not my people, and it's okay too. Um, and that's a tough place to be in. It's tough to get yourself over that mental hurdle that every person's not going to be your person, but it also brings way better quality relationships into your life. So I just touched on this like briefly here because this is sort of a concept that I feel is so, so very important for us narcissistic abuse survivors. And so I really hope that you found value in this conversation. And I'd love to share more. If you have experiences that you want to share, definitely shoot them down in the comment section below. And I will come back and sort of do a more deep dive into this energy sort of vortex that we're in, and like sharing energy with other people and all of that, because there's a lot here and it just can't be done in one video. Also, if you want one-on-one coaching, you can find my contact in the description box down below and get in touch with me. I would love to help you heal from narcissistic abuse and find that beautiful light within you and begin to develop the life that you've always wished for and wanted. Anyways, that's it for this video, and I will chat with you again next time. Bye-bye.